All righty. Good. Well, here it is good afternoon here in the central time zone of the United States. So, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever it is you are. Thanks for joining me today. I'm just doing, wish this camera was a little bit better, to be quite honest with you. It's supposed to be an HD camera. Don't look too damn HD to me, I'll tell you that. All right, so thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Dave. Welcome to Dave's English, and I've decided I'm going to do these podcasts. Some things are going to be changing on this on my YouTube channel, just so you know. I'm going to explain why today. Um, but yeah, today here in Illinois, it's a dreary day, just absolutely raining and whatnot. And we're just going to have rain for hours on end. Like this is our radar that we have for the area, and it's just absolutely horrible. But anyway, hope you're all doing well. Hope anyone who's watching, hope you're doing fine today. Yeah, so these podcasts now are basically just going to be me talking. And I kind of look at it as I see a lot of videos when it comes to English learning about conversation practice, this, that, and the other. And one of the problems with these conversation practice videos is this whole idea of, um, you know, you're having a conversation, but not having a conversation. Um, and part of that problem is that with these conversation practice videos, they're all scripted. So people already know what the answers are going to be or whatever. And the way in which those conversation practice videos are done, nobody talks like that. Okay, maybe it's again, it's written, it's a script, but nobody actually talks the way in which it is presented in those videos. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to have like a podcast like this where I just go and I talk. There are no pauses. There's nothing. If I make a mistake, you'll hear the mistake, and then people can lose their shit. Go, oh my god, this article or something like that. Without knowing everything with the language. So I figured that what these podcasts that I'm doing right now are more toward the idea of speaking off the cuff and just talking to you as if I were talking to somebody uh, at a bar or something like that. Okay, so it's beyond just you know hi, my name's Dave. How are you? And I really am, and I'm going to get into that today because it's one of the things I want to talk about. But that's what this is going to be. This is mostly going to be about me talking to you and just kind of having a conversation, talk about things that are happening in the world, things that are happening here, things that are happening maybe in English language learning circles or whatever. So it's not necessarily, and that's why I put in the description. And if you know this, um, this will be interesting. Um, it's just for me to shoot the shit. So, which means just to have a casual conversation about whatever. And that's what the focus is going to be on with this. It's just that I'm talking. You can improve your listening skills by listening to what I say. And then hopefully that's going to help you in the end, kind of, you know, improve your listening skills. So that's the goal. That's what I'm going to be doing with these types of podcasts. Now, um, so I might talk about English. In fact, I am going to a little bit today. I might talk about other topics as well. Okay. Um, and that's what it is. It's just I'm either going to talk about topics or I'm going to just talk about something that again you can listen to how an American really speaks to you instead of hi, my name's Dave. I work at a factory. My house is big. I have a car. No, 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 none of that shit. No one talks like that. And see, this is one of the things I really hate when it comes to English, especially the English so-called teaching community online, is this whole idea of how people talk. Now, the way that I'm talking to you right now is how I would talk to anybody else. Okay, so I'm not using a filter or anything like that. And that's kind of the experience that I want you to get through these podcasts. So, again, thank you for joining me today and whatnot. But I guess we're going to go a little bit into, and if you have any questions, ask me. Like who the hell are the Blue Jays or something like that. We're out of the playoffs. We got into the wild card, swept in 2 games by the Twins. Oh well, at least we're making it to the playoffs. We're not just constantly in last place. And by the way, if you are from another country, if you wear a Yankees hat, you can't name one player on the New York Yankees, like stop it. Just stop wearing a New York Yankees hat if you cannot name one player on the New York Yankees. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Babe Ruth was on the Yankees. If you don't know who Babe Ruth is, and you're right, just stop. And same thing a little bit with the Boston Red Sox hats. I see those over, in other places. Just quit wearing those. Okay. That's just one thing I hate. It's just something that grinds my gears. And also one thing that I notice, and for those of you who are in Europe, maybe you notice this, but it grinds my gears a little bit as an American, and a lot of Americans as well, is when you will see people wearing a shirt that will say like Michigan University on it. And like me as an American, I look at that and I go, first of all, it's University of Michigan. Second of all, it's not the colors that you have in that shirt. It's that university's colors are not those colors. This is something I don't know why in Europe that a lot of fake universities are on people's shirts and people wear them around, kind of like the New York Yankees thing. But it's just weird to see people have these fake universities on their shirt. And like as an American, it's kind of like, that's not real. No, now someone said Stanford, Harvard, like those are real legit universities. Okay, but there was one that was called like Michigan University. And I saw this when I was in Bratislava, which was interesting. It was called like Michigan University, and the colors that they had for the university were green, red, and yellow. It kind of like some sort of Christmas tree. Now there is a University of Michigan, which they're the Wolverines. In fact, University of Michigan might have the largest or one of the largest stadiums in college football. It's the Big House, and that's another thing about the United States. When it comes to colleges and universities, we kind of clump them together. Okay, so you have Boston College and Boston University. Both are 4-year plus degree granting institutions. But anyway, back to University of Michigan. Let me go ahead. Like the University of Michigan's colors are blue and gold. So let me show you. You can see like right there. They're blue and gold, and it's the University of Michigan. It's not Michigan University. So this is just something that I noticed in Europe that is absolutely, I think, kind of hysterical. Seeing people with these things and so on. No, actually, you don't see it. I have a video going. I will tell you now. I do YouTube. Not a YouTuber, by the way. So any of those people say, "Oh, you're jealous." Well, we'll get into that later because I think there's a disconnect between reality and with some people who make comments on my channel and like what reality really is. But I'm watching a video. It's a driving video. I don't know what kind of videos you guys like at all. Like what kind of videos? I guess you like English content because you're here. But like with me, I watch driving videos. Now, what do I mean by driving videos? I mean a video where somebody just has a camera on a car and drives. As a matter of fact, I started a channel, my own channel doing that. And right now I'm watching a video of a drive from Sydney, Australia to Melbourne. And it's like an 8-hour video. So I've been watching it. And I just love these. These are the most relaxing videos. As a matter of fact, my favorite video that is on YouTube, just my absolute favorite video, is one where somebody drives from Salt Lake City to the city of Moab in Utah. Now, it's sentimental to me just because I used to do that drive a lot because I used to live in Salt Lake City. I went to the University of Utah and then eventually moved there a few times more to work in political campaigns. But um, overall, it was just it's just a video that I really like. And I like these kind of videos. Um, and when it comes to like my favorite YouTube channels, my I would say my favorite YouTube channels, I got a few of them. And I mean, none of them are language related. Okay. My favorite YouTube channel I would say right now is one called Gabriel Traveler. Now, like he has a Patreon and he is the only person on Patreon that I actually give money to because I really like watching his videos. He's around the same age I am. I think he's older. He is older. He's around the same age though that I am. And he's a solo traveler traveling around the world. So whatever country you live in, he's probably been there before. And so I just love watching his videos. And right now he is actually in Sardinia. Okay, he was just in Sicily. He was in Jerusalem, went up to Georgia, so he was in Tbilisi and some other places for a while. But then he does travel, and I love his videos. So whenever he has a video that comes out, he's like one of those ones I have the little bell for that I always tick and make sure that uh, I watch his videos. So if you ever want to watch a video that can help you with your English by just hearing somebody and you like travel, I highly recommend his. It's more of a solo thing. But yeah, when it comes to YouTube, I'm not a big language type of person. Like I'm learning, except that's changing. That is changing. And I am learning a new language. I started learning a new language just like literally 2 days ago. And it's a language that probably no one here even knows. Okay. Like if I said something in it, and it's like I have to think of what it is because I literally just started it. It's probably one that if I said something in it, like you could try to Google search it and you probably wouldn't find it. So it becomes a real challenge to find a lot of materials. Now, Slovak, that's one of the languages that I've been working on, but been quite lazy at when it comes to that. No, as a matter of fact, I see Klingon in there. No, you can find information on Klingon. But let's see. I'm gonna try to say something. Mahite Rashra Devga Higaire. That means my name is Dave. Now, if you can find out what that language is, Mahite Rashra Devga Higaire. If you know what that is, then good luck to you. No, Gaelic. Gaelic is like way more popular than this. Let's just put it this way: there are only between 30 and 400 native speakers of this language still speaking it today. Okay, it is a very, very small dying language out there. So, trying to find a lot of information on this is really hard. Now, I can't say everything that I said in that sentence. So, mahite rashra devga higaire. I can't tell you kind of the first word because that kind of gives away a little bit of it gives away a little bit of what there is. Just a little bit. Um so yeah. And the reason I'm learning it is it doesn't have a direct connection to me, but it kind of has a a kind of a connection to me. So, if you know what that language is, if you're watching this on the live stream or if you're eventually watching it, after I've done this, uh, go down below and I want to see. I think maybe the last word that I said you can maybe interpret and Google search, but I don't think any other one would be easy for you to figure out. And this is hard. And a lot of people talk about learning a language and how hard it is or how easy it is or whatever, and that we should or should not critique people based on that. I think that comes down to um, what you're claiming. And we're going to talk about that today because I have a new channel that I'm going to be talking about that is, oh, holy hell, it's bad. And if you're from Russia, you might actually know this channel. So I'll mention it to you today during the live stream and then just see if anyone notices that. But back to my favorite YouTube channel. So I don't know if any of you, I mean, I don't know how many of you actually watch YouTube in English. Most of mine are based on geographical locations. Um, so I watch, okay, Gabriel Traveler, I mentioned. I used to watch Bald and Bankrupt, but that guy is a total perv. Um, I watch, there's one in Japan called Abroad in Japan. It's about a British guy named Chris Broad who's in Japan. I love that channel. I don't have a huge interest in Japan itself, but I find his channel interesting because it seems like he's talking about the country and whatnot, which I think is kind of interesting. It isn't just focused on, hey, this is anime stuff. So I hate that crap. I mean, I'm not saying I hate anime. I have like no opinion of it one way or the other. I just hate when, like, if you want to watch something about Japanese, there has to be something anime thrown into it instead of just being, hey, I'd like to find out something about the country instead of finding out about anime and the country. Just give me some info about the country, for Christ's sakes. Anyway, yeah, so those are some of my favorites that I have right now. I do watch, yeah, see, I don't watch any language stuff except learning Slovak. There is like a Learn Slovak Through Stories channel because with Slovak, I've really just started it as well. And it kind of takes the whole Stephen Krashen approach to, the input hypothesis. And as a matter of fact, the first video that she has on there is very similar to what Stephen Krashen does in his. So that's really interesting to watch. But that being said, um, yeah, so I want to talk about, I guess I'll talk about, so, and then my other favorite thing are watching these types of videos with, just somebody driving in their car, driving down the interstate or driving down a highway. Like this guy is driving to Melbourne and it's like just beautiful scenery, 4K. It gives you that feeling of being there, which I absolutely love because I don't want to be here right now. So it was nice being in Bratislava, but having to work as much as I do and having family to take care of and all that, I'm pretty much stayed put right here. But let's go ahead and talk about my recent video and some recent things and kind of maybe the direction this is going. Because, like I said, this podcast is more about just chatting, just about talking, just for you to improve your listening skills, to help you learn English more. I mean, that's it. That's essentially it. And as a matter of fact, if you ever take a lesson with me, which you can do at davesenglish.com, this is kind of how it is. Though for some reason, the camera turns out a lot better during my lessons on Zoom than it is here right now on YouTube. So I don't know why the camera, maybe I can change the camera settings to, nah, this card changes. Okay. I was just going to see if I could change the camera settings at all. But I don't know. Okay, so anyway, let me go ahead and talk about these changes. Now, as I mentioned, this podcast isn't, it could be maybe, there could be a topic to it. There could be. Don't know yet, like in the future. Okay. But the channel might be changing direction a little bit. I don't want it to change direction, but I think it might need to. I don't know. Okay, and this is the problem. So a lot of people will come onto my channel and say, instead of going after so and so or whatever, do your own material, do your own teaching. Well, here's the thing. I have. Okay, those videos are there. All right. Those videos teaching people how to use past perfect or present continuous versus present simple, or the recent one I had about explain me and these problems, those videos are there. Okay. People are just not watching them. Don't blame the messenger. Okay. Blame the algorithm. So in this situation, I like to provide these types of videos, but people just don't watch them as much. So for, take for example the He Explained Me video. Um, I got around 2,000 some views with that right now. But then I do POC English and do a video about them, and all of a sudden, um, s- all of a sudden I get more than double the amount of hits in 2 days and triple the amount of hours. You know, that's kind of unfortunately where this channel has gone. That a lot of people want me to go on there to mostly talk about what the good channels are, what the bad channels are, and everything like that. And go ahead and put in the chat what you think as well. But that's what people want, and it's like I'm sorry. I mean, I still want to do that stuff because at the end of the day, I'm a teacher that's trying to help students with their English language learning, and even the way in which I'm looking at English is kind of changing because I think that we are really moving from learning a specifics about a language to learning how to learn a language in general. I think that we're kind of in that area right now when it comes to English or language learning in general. So I think we're coming to the point where we need to learn techniques as far as language learning, and that technique can be applied to all languages instead of just figuring out how to learn English in and of itself. And because then it might not necessarily adjust and change to that. So I think there's a shift. And so there is a program called I think it's called Link or something. It's Stephen Kaufman's program that he had. And I was thinking about doing a review of it because I like it, but I hate it. And I think it's important to say that. And that's one thing I want this channel never to lose is the idea of, hey, I'm telling you the truth. And this is what I hate about doing some of these channels. It's like um English for everyone. Okay, you have Lingua Marina and English for everyone. Okay? And people are like one side or the other. No. It's like if I and it's so funny. I mean it's fucking mind-blowing with some of this that it's like you can say something bad about English for everyone. And you will have people say, "Oh, how dare you say that?" Whatever. And then you say something about Lingua Marina and they're like, "Oh, this is a great video." And then vice versa. It's like I can say something good about English for everyone. That person's like, "Oh, this is great." And then I say something about positive, let's say about Lingua Marina, and they'll be like, "Oh, how can you do that?" It's like people are taking sides in this. There is no sides. There's a right and a wrong. There's a correct and a not correct. There are no sides. But yet people are coming to this conclusion that there are sides when it comes to this English language learning, which again, I don't get it. I don't know why. I don't know. To me, having a loyalty to a channel and blindly following the people on that channel, it's kind of fucked up. It really is. Okay, yes. And this is where I guess I'll talk about English for everyone because I criticize them. I put my video up about them. At the end of the day, though, I don't like their methods and I question why they're doing what they're doing because I still see it more as some sort of personal vendetta than anything or some sort of vendetta or whatever. Do I think they're trying to do the right thing? Yes. And I think that's where this really comes into play. I do think they're trying to do the right thing because here's the one thing that other channels do that Kevin and Lisa don't. And that is that they aren't selling a product. Whereas Lingua Marina, it has product placement in what she does. Um, Veronica Marks, holy cow. I'll probably be doing a video on her channel. I mean, her channel to me is just like QVC shopping network for stuff. I mean, the way she does it is so sly. Okay. With Veronica Marks, what I just notice is that, and this is where I give Lingua Marina credit. She will, talk about a topic and then maybe put a product placement in there and then talk about a topic. Now, I would rather have Kevin and Lisa, let's say, talk about something with English and then put a NordVPN advertisement in their sponsorship and then continue talking about something else. But what Veronica Marks does, and I'm going to talk about this in my video, is she has a sponsor for each video and she builds her video around the sponsor. She is always selling something. If you look at the videos that she actually has, none of them really have any value to them whatsoever. And so, and like, for example, she talks about her American accent, which, by the way, she does not have one. She has a Russian accent. Okay. Sorry, Veronica, you don't have one. But the whole thing is built around this product selling. Like, she's using language learning for product selling. Now, Veronica Marks, Lingua Marina, Lisa from English for Everyone, and all that. Are they extraordinary? Are they people who speak at an exceptional level? No. They speak like hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of other immigrants in the United States. Lingua Marina and Veronica Marks are no different than a lot of people who come here from other countries as far as their level. Nothing extraordinary whatsoever when it comes to that. I mean, for right now, I would say the ones who have the best overall English comprehension. So I mentioned Anna. Like, she's done really good with her pronunciation, but like Heather's English. I'm going to do a video about hers and her pronunciation. I think she's really good. And I think the information that she gives on her channel is really good. It's at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself what that is. No, not in English. Anna from English Fluency Journey. Now, Inna is definitely one that's excellent. She gives excellent advice. But it comes to the point with Veronica Marks, it's just this product placement aspect of it that it's just like the whole video is built around the whole video is just built around this product placement. Because again, go look at what she offers. She's selling something that she deems is exceptional, speaking with an American accent, which she doesn't. By the way, she doesn't. So that's already selling it incorrectly anyway. And so I have an issue with that. I'm going to talk about that in later videos. Eventually, I'm going to get down to that. So, oh yeah, and if anyone ever wants to do like a super chat or become a member of my YouTube channel, I do have memberships right now. I know for a lot of people that's impossible due to the fact of, a war going on and some countries being sanctioned. But yeah, if you want to, if you can, it'd be greatly appreciated. One thing okay, so there's a new channel that I came across and I already got the stuff for it. Okay, so let me see. Now, this is a channel that is done by somebody from Russia. And they did this channel and they stopped doing it a few years ago, but then they started doing it again. And I'm going to be doing a video on this one because it's like, holy hell. It's like, wow. Okay, so there's this one called English Professionally, Phrasal Verbs in English, English Grammar Lessons, and English Words. Has 679,000 subscribers to it. Okay. And he ended up doing another channel that is called like English Galaxy or something. Let me see. I don't know how to say this because I don't speak Russian. I'm just gonna put the name of it in the chat there. And actually, I'll go ahead and put the name of the original one that I saw in here as well. So these are the two. So he did the one in English first, and then he created this other one, or they might have been simultaneous. I don't know. But the second one that I put is one that's totally in um the first one that I have listed there is in Russian. So I don't know how long he's done it. I haven't like really researched that. The second one is one that he did in English. Now, here is the description of the one in English, which, okay, any of you that know English, at least I would say at a B1 level, will probably know the mistake right away. Now, this is the intro in his description. We learn English grammar lessons for beginners and other levels. Let me say that again. We learn English grammar lessons for beginners. Now, this guy has 679,000 subscribers. Like I say, he doesn't update it anymore, but it's kind of, I mean, um, come on. Come on. Now, how did I come across this channel? You might ask. So I was doing a Google search, or not a Google search, a YouTube search for channels that, yeah, I said this is going to be off topic, and here I am talking about friggin' English. Um, you know, but anyway, so I'm doing this research on channels, and I type in there, I type be fluent in English in like 30 days or 60 days. And then I said, fuck it. All right. Be fluent in English in a day. I'm like, I'm just going to put that in there, see if something comes up. And it did. This guy's channel came up. And, when you see be fluent in a day, you think that it's a joke. You're like, okay, this is obviously a joke. No one can get fluent in English in a day. That's just an obvious joke. So like I think like there was a video where PewDiePie said that he read like 700 books in a year, and it was like an obvious joke. And in the first minutes, he goes, "No, I didn't read 700." Okay, but yeah. So, anyways, I look at this video, and the guy was dead serious that he was saying he became fluent in English in one day. Now he kind of talks about some build up to it or whatever, but it's like he really said he became fluent in one day. And it's like, holy shit, this guy actually believes it. And see, this is the problem I have. Now, let's talk about people like Lingua Marina and stuff. Do I think, as I think is pretty apparent in my last video that I made, do I think that she stretches the truth and maybe isn't really clear or comes out clearly when it comes to what she is? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the case. Now, do I think she teaches, again, air quotes, teaches things incorrectly? Sometimes. Okay. I mean, let's give credit where credit's due. Most of the stuff that she says is correct. It's just the things that are wrong, and some of them can be really bad when they're wrong. But when you're saying that you're an authority of this, you better be right. Okay, you just better be right. Now, that being said, okay, do I think she's, because a lot of people will say this? They'll say she's a fraud. Okay, do I think she's a fraud? No, because I don't think that she makes claims. Now she says these are certain things that you can do to learn how to speak like a native. But she doesn't make the claim of take my program and you will be fluent in 1 month or you will be fluent in 3 months. She kind of skirts that line masterfully, I will admit. But yeah, at the end of the day, I wouldn't. So a lot of people say she's a scammer, and I wouldn't, or a fraudster, and I wouldn't say that. She just knows how to play the game. She knows how to get people who are sheeple over to her side to be able to connect to her and have a cult like Kool-Aid drinking following, and she makes money off of them. Okay, but at the end of the day, she is, no matter how shitty it is, she is delivering something to them. Now, when you say, and your channel's built on this whole idea of learn English in a day, and everything that he's saying on here, like there was something about like on one of his channels, like learn 7,000 words in like an hour. Okay, that would be like one fourth to one fifth of the average English speaker's vocabulary that they know in their lifetime. Okay, so that means 5 hours, you're going to know as much English as I do. Yeah, why wouldn't you do that, right? And it's just, there's a point where Lingua Marina, now, when it comes to her rags to riches story, I do believe, I still do believe there's an issue there. But when it comes to her English content, I think that she thinks that she's right, but she doesn't know that she's not right. And that's an arrogance in and of itself, I'll admit. But I don't think she's on purposely, I mean, okay, yes, she's leading people in a certain direction. No doubt about that. But I don't think she's doing it to a level of what I would consider something that's a scam. Okay. This guy, however, it is. He's like, I'm this great teacher. I have a CELTA, which I really question because I have a CELTA, and somebody with his poor English skills probably would not have been accepted in the program in the first place. And if he was accepted and they gave him one, then that means that my CELTA is absolutely worth crap because it's dog shit at that point if you're accepting somebody like him. Um, but you know, this is the problem that we have with language learning is that a lot of people want to know language, speak English in 6 months fluently. It's not going to happen that way. I'm sorry, people. It's going to take you time. It's just that's just how this stuff works. Like anything, move it away from that. Okay. Um, but yeah, I mean, this channel, as soon as I saw to be fluent in English in one day, um, I was just like, holy hell, this is pretty damn funny. Um, let's see. And like six, I mean, why do people watch him? Okay, so what I'm just gonna do is don't watch it now because I want you to watch the stream. I want you to watch this. Though today's is going to be a lot shorter than the other one because I got to go grocery shopping. I got to pick up groceries and I got to do stuff. Um, but anyway, so this is that video that he has of how to speak English fluent in one day. And he almost has this maniacal look to him, like an evil genius. Hello, my friends. Silence of the Lambs. Hello, Clarice. So, yeah. But anyways, here's the video. But yeah, I mean, I, you know what, Lingua Marina, I have a problem with her story. I have a issue with the mistakes that she makes. But again, I don't think she's making the claim that the others are. And it's when you do this predatory action against other people that I think becomes the issue. As a matter of fact, I was watching a video from a person who's learning Chinese, Japanese, and I guess some Korean now. Her name's Oriental Pearl. And she had an interview with somebody who is a polyglot. And they talked about this. They said, it's these predatory approaches that you can learn English or whatever in this certain amount of time. And my way is the way to do it. I don't do that on my channel, which again, okay, so this is going to go into the direction of my channel. As I mentioned, I would love to do more videos about teaching, like about rules and all that. But there's, like I said, there's two reasons why. One, I think we're starting to move away from that. I think things like this, me talking to you or making a video that has comprehensible input in it, is more important. Now, for many of you who are watching, this might be comprehensible input due to the fact that you might be a B2 level and higher. I did a poll on my channel like a month or so ago to ask what you self-evaluate your level as. And I do make my channel kind of focus more on those types of learners. Okay. So the first thing is that um, you know, people as far as this change is just that people here have a little bit higher of a level, I think. But the second thing is that this, and this is what people want. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is what people want. Again, I do something about um explain how explain me is wrong. I do it, it's out for 7 days, then I do something about POC English. And he is that video does double the amount of views, double the amount of views, triple or maybe even quadruple the amount of hours in 2 days. Again, which one am I going to do? Sorry. It's just come to the point that that's the case. And when it comes to English, and this is what I have been thinking, is that when it comes to English learning, first and foremost, I'm a teacher. That's why I always talk about my channel, davesenglish.com, to go on it if you're ever interested in learning English. That's what I do. But when it's coming to the point that there's so many videos out there, and this is the problem with the explain me video. So I put, explain me incorrect English or something in the search bar on YouTube, and it just does not, like, my video does not show up. There are so many other videos about almost every subject of English that just absolutely swamps the algorithm, swamps the search engine, that my video in regards to something that might be helpful for you is going to just be drowned in all that stuff. Chances are you're going to see that video of mine, if you're already subscribed to my channel, from watching a video about lingua marina or English for everyone or POC English or something like that. That's what it comes down to. Because I think that the videos I give the best information in, I would say, would be my present simple versus present continuous. The video that I did about phrasal verbs, which was the 9-minute video about phrasal verbs. This recent one that I did as well. Like, there are a lot that I give really good information. They just don't get the hits. However, if I'm going to be in this world of YouTube trying to do what I need to do, I think it's better for me, because this is where the algorithm is going with me, is to tell students, okay, you need to go this way. Okay, this resource, good. This resource, stay away from. And again, this is the problem I have with Kevin and Lisa, is that nothing positive. They've never done a video saying, hey, you know what? This YouTuber over here that's teaching English, they're doing a really good job. You should watch them. I try to do that. I did that with English. I did that with Inna in English. I did that with the English Fluency Journey. And I'm going to be doing that with Hadar's, with her channel. That's going to be a very positive one as well. Just kind of preview of what that is. That's going to be a really positive one as well. I don't look at personalities. I don't give a rat's ass about personalities. Sorry. Okay. I look at information and what you can learn. And I would say, and yeah, see, that's the thing. Hadar is a big fan of Marina. I don't care. I care what the channel offers. Okay. Now here's the thing about Marina, and this is, and when we're talking about Marina, here's the thing, is that at the end of the day, that little group, they're all in it for business reasons at the end of the day. Now, I'm calling out and I'm saying good and bad for those reasons. Okay. Now, when it comes to, some channels, I want to make sure that if they're good, that they should be, good. And like I said, when it comes to Hadar, I don't care if she likes Lingua Marina. If she has good information, it's important to say she has good information at the end of the day. Whereas take Rachel's English, okay, I think that has gone from a really good channel to a really shit channel. I think it's gone from creating an English channel to talk about American pronunciation to a channel that is purely trying to chase the algorithm. And like, it seems like her her content has become a little bit crap. Now you might say, "Hey, Dave, you just said you're chasing the algorithm because you're not going to do the teaching videos." Yeah, that's right. But on the other hand, I don't think there are a lot of videos out there that are about these other channels, and we're just getting swamped with them right now. Everybody, and this is a product, I think, of the pandemic. Everyone who knew English, which is over a billion people, all of a sudden thought they were an English teacher. Now, I had been teaching before this. The pandemic came, and it was weird because I always did online teaching for the most part. Again, davesenglish.com. I did it for the most part, but I was in a classroom before. I taught in Murmansk, as I mentioned. So it's just weird that everyone started coming to my world. They're like, "Oh, now we're on Zoom. How does this?" Like, "Oh, I've been doing this all the time. This is just how I am." But anyway, yeah, I think it's important to tell the truth. And for me to take sides then breaks my legitimacy. Right? If I hear that Hadar is a friend of Lingua Marina, and then I say I don't like her, and it's purely because I don't like Lingua Marina, that's not good. That's not what people want. They come to my channel to hopefully get something that's like that. Now, this comes to all the Lingua Marina. Now, there is one person who, whenever I say talk about Lingua Marina, she makes a comment. I think she's like a info gypsy in waiting or something like that. And like she has an English channel. And in her English channel, she does a lot of connected speech. And and this is like I thought about doing a video about connected speech and saying, okay, this is the good and bad of it because I do find that a lot of students and a lot of people learning English focus so much on connected speech. They sound like this like they it's connected, but the sounds are still unique. And like this one person who comes on to mind, like I said, Info Gypsy in Waiting, she just basically defends Marina. And I saw her channel, and she sounds like she's been sipping the Chardonnay since 7 a.m. Okay. Now, I thought about using that as an example of what connected speech isn't. And then kind of showing other examples of what connected speech is. And even like take Anna from the English fluency journey. If she ever does give away the fact that she is a non-native speaker, it's the connected speech that gives it away all the time. All the time. It is the connected speech that gives it away. So, yeah, this is something. This is unfortunately, I think the route this channel is going to be going toward. Now, I need to turn this off, but I don't know how. I guess like there are ads being inserted as we're doing it, and I just noticed it popping up here. So I'll make sure the next time that there are no ads inserted in this. I'm sorry about that. I thought if I put monetization on here, it would do the replay. I didn't know if it would do it during a live stream. So don't know how that's working. So I'll figure that out for next week or whatever. But yeah, so unfortunately, unfortunately, I'm at the point of saying it's going to be better for this channel to point out the good and the bad than to actually provide information regarding regarding rules. Okay, because I'm just never going to get into that algorithm. It's just never going to happen. It's going to be this guy here that he learns people English for beginners. He's going to get the algorithm. I'm not. I mean, sucks. It's what it is. But I figured, hell, this is my level of shit I'm at right now. So I'm just going to stick with this level of shit and keep on doing what I got. And yeah, because I think, and people might ask, why do you do this? Now, this comes to my political days when I used to work in politics. In politics, people would ask me to do things to lie. Okay, so they would ask. So I used to do voter behavior and uh, voter analytics and stuff like that. So just basically like, a data scientist for voting behavior. And I would have campaigns come to me and say that, oh, we want you to have the numbers look as if we're going to win. And I'm going to say, well, no, the numbers, according to the numbers, is that this is going to probably be the outcome, or this is going to be the range of our outcome. And they always wanted me to change. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm not going to ruin my reputation so that you can get this. It became a catch-22 situation. It was, I couldn't get a job in politics because I wouldn't change the numbers. And then on the other hand, if I actually changed the numbers and they ended up being wrong, then it hurts my reputation of always being wrong. So I left and I was like, this is extremely dishonest. This is something that's happened within the last 6 or 7 years. It's not something that has always happened. And so I get really mad when I see misinformation out there because I was in that when it came to politics and I just didn't want to do it anymore. I'm like, no, my ethics are too clean to lie to help you win. So I didn't want to do that. Now, on the other hand, when it came to English, my idea of doing videos about lingua marina probably came about in 2019. That's when I first noticed it. I was talking to another student of mine at the time who was a YouTuber at that time. I think she's kind of left it, even though she had a big following of over 2 million people. I was telling her about doing this, and she's like, you should do it. You should do it. And I just didn't come around to doing it. I ended up doing it. As you know, you're here right now. But it came to the point where I just was like, seeing Kevin and Lisa do it, I was like, okay. I didn't want to be nitpicking like them and talk about all the little mistakes. What I mostly wanted to talk about, and this is where the focus is going to be, I'll let them deal with the absolute small mistakes. Well, no, I'll talk about the mistakes too, because honestly, POC English, he's a fucking gold mine of just errors. I mean, how this guy has 2 million people beats hell. I mean, again, it's algorithm and people just being brainwashed into thinking, hey, this guy is good, right? But let's go ahead and move on from there. Is that I feel I can do more good pointing out who's good and who's bad. And moreover, which by the way, a lot of people say moreover, and I just did, but people rarely say it. So don't say it a lot. We might say it once every 6 months and maybe once every year. That was my once every year. I would say, and I almost did it again. I would say that what I really want to focus on is what is and what isn't said in English. Now, these other people who do these English language channels, they are not teachers. They don't deal with students one on one. Today was a very slow day for me. I only had 3 students, which was the reason why I did this podcast today. Because I was like, oh, okay, I kind of have my afternoon off, so I'll go ahead and do this podcast for today. I deal with students on a day by day basis, and I'm able to see their mistakes through interaction with them. When dealing with hundreds of students, or probably almost over 1,000 now, I might have had thousands of hours of English. You get to know what those mistakes are, and a lot of these English channels aren't based off what average mistakes there are. They're just kind of a explain the language. And one thing I've noticed a lot with a lot of students who come to me is that they will, and I mentioned this in my idioms video, they will overuse certain words. They will overuse idioms so your ears bleed. And you know that they learn that because they were taught by some YouTube teacher that, you have to learn all these idioms to sound like a native speaker. And then what happens is they only, say things in idioms, and it's like, holy cow, this is crazy. Now I'm going to actually put another, let me go onto YouTube and I'm going to, okay, so Joey, friends, and then thesaurus. There you go. So this is okay. I'm just gonna put this video in the chat. You guys can watch it after the video. And watch the video. It kind of shows so Joey is a dumb guy in Friends. I don't watch Friends. By the way, for those of you who think Friends is like the big show of the United States or whatever, it was the number one. Oh crap! It was the number one show in the United States. Ugh. It was the number one show in the United States for 1 year. 1 year. Okay, so it's not like this major, unbelievable. I've maybe seen 3 episodes of it in my life. If you're looking for something around that time, look at Seinfeld, the years before, Cheers, Night Court, stuff like that. Yeah, it's just whatever. But anyways, in this video that I just gave you, Joey creates a letter of recommendation or trying to get a letter of recommendation, and he uses a thesaurus like on every word so that he could sound like intelligent, right? And it was like a thesaurus on every single word. And yeah, so that's something that you should watch. But anyways, that's what I'm thinking well, let me put this in. And that's what I'm thinking that what this channel needs to be is to point those mistakes out. Because again, I unlike these other people who are teaching or who are doing English channels online, I actually see the residual effects of that teaching, of what they see online, and then I see it in a lesson, and I'm like, why are you saying this? Right? So like in a lot of them will so let's say let's say we want to start a lesson. And somebody might go, okay, let's get this party started. And I'm like, no, I would just say, okay. it's like there's this overuse of it. And it is YouTube that is 100% to blame for this. These whole sound like a native, because they're all fucking wrong. They're all wrong. Okay. I've been speaking for an hour, right? I've been speaking for an hour. How many idioms have you heard me use? With the exception of using them to make the obvious, point. And like I told you at the beginning of this video, and it's absolutely true, I'm talking to you like I talk to other people. And you can tell that by I just started a channel called Dave's Canadian Politics. And I don't make any closed captions or anything for that, because it's for a Canadian audience, a native English speaking audience. So you can tell them that just how I speak. And as a matter of fact, I'm probably speaking the exact same in this video as I did in that Canadian video. But the point is that a lot of students are not learning words appropriately or what would sound natural. And it just sounds really, really weird. And it's not just YouTube. It's kind of, it's always been a joke in in movies. If you ever seen the movie Short Circuit, that was probably from 1986, maybe, or something, with Steve Guttenberg and others. If you watch that movie, there's a guy from India in there, and he's always using he's misusing but always using idioms. And the whole joke of it is that he's learning the language and he's always using these idioms and he's always using them incorrectly. And so this is where I have the problems with sound like a native, learn these idioms. No, we don't use them that often. And I would even say that here in the United States, it's probably more of a regional thing. You go down to the South, you're more likely to hear idioms than in the North. And again, I know I'm from Chicago. My mom's side of the family is from Chicago. My dad's side of the family is from rural Northeast Mississippi, Belmont, Mississippi. Just look up Belmont, Mississippi, and Tishomingo, Mississippi. If you ever have seen the movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? that movie is based on where my dad's side of the family is from. So I have this plethora of experience when it comes to that. But I'm going to be ending here in a second. I'm going to go through any comments that people have. And so, okay, I'll scroll up. And I know that I just really haven't been, um, I really haven't been following the chat today. But let me go ahead and go. Um, yeah, the weather here sucks. I mean, it's shitty outside, but it was like 2 days ago, it was like 93 outside. I don't do Celsius. Sorry. Um, if you come here and tell me something in Celsius, I'll be like, "Oh, that's pretty damn cold." And I know people are gonna be like, "Well, Jesus, take a joke." Um, and that's another thing, it's like if you're gonna come to the United States, and this is not a language thing, okay? If you're gonna see here and now, here's one of the problems I have with Lingua Maria. Okay, let me go on a little bit of a rant here. Whenever I see her hanging out with friends, it looks just so goddamn boring. They're all at the table. Oh, it's like it's like, come on, you got to learn to take a joke. You got to learn to actually get out of your own skin and enjoy yourself and kind of go out and do things for Christ's sake. Oh yeah, and so this is it. So let me go ahead and say what I said earlier. So to those people who are watching right now, I said I'm learning a new language, and I said I bet nobody, unless they are from this group of people who use this language, no one will know it. So Mahite Rashra Devga Higaire. And again, that pronunciation isn't 100%, but the word is there. Mahite Rashra Devga Higaire, or it's technically Hingaire. Hingaire. Okay. So if you know that, comment below. Um, and I don't think anyone's gonna get it. I mean, maybe someone will, but I don't think anyone's gonna get it. Okay. Um, yeah, tons of right. It's like, unfortunately, the this person's doing shit or this person doing well videos are the ones that go. Any advice um is just kind of like forgotten. Um, so if you speak English absolutely fluently, then you can consider yourself a de facto native speaker. But why pretend to be a native speaker and talk about accent stuff? It's pointless. Well, this is a really good point between and Luca. What is his name? Luca Lamparello or Lampanarello. I forget how to say his last name, but he's a polyglot. He talked about how you can never be a native speaker. Okay, because being a native speaker encompasses more than just the ability to speak. Okay, it is the cultural experiences and all that come together. I've always said that an accent is a byproduct of your pronunciation of words, your cultural experiences, and all that. So I am talking like I do, which is exactly like a Northwest suburban Chicago guy. Okay. And that is a culmination of all my experiences that I had as a kid to be able to do this. Hence the reason why when people say, when I talk about the Anna from English Fluency Journey, there are people in there going, she doesn't sound like she's from Chicago. She sounds like she's from Ukraine. And my name is Igor from Ukraine. Well, my name's Dave from Chicago, and I'm saying she sounds like she's from fucking Chicago. Okay. Think I know a little bit about this. All right. And it's in I will admit it's this just kind of arrogance that people have with the language and stuff that says that somebody who has lived in this certain region and who grew up in this region be like me going and saying, oh yeah, you're not from Murmansk. You don't sound like that. You're from Moscow. How the hell would I know? Let's be anyway. Um, but yeah, I think one of the things that's important, and this is a good point. There's a difference between C2 and native. You can be a C2 speaker and not a native speaker and speak like a professor and speak well, know the English language. You can be a native speaker and not speak like a C2 speaker, but you're still a native speaker nonetheless. I think there's too much actually put on native speaker, not native speakers sound like an American. I fucking hate those types of videos because at the end of the day, it's about communication. It's about, and I tell a lot of my students and all that, if you are speaking to me and I know everything that you're saying, and then I say something to you, that's what's most important. And again, I think people come from a lot of unilingual and unicultural countries where having an accent is deemed to be stupid in a lot of these countries where it's not here. This is that cultural disconnect. Every one of my students say, I want to have an American accent so I don't sound stupid. No one's going to think you're going to sound stupid. As a matter of fact, unfortunately, I'm sorry, and this sucks because it's half of my family as well. Unfortunately, if you have a Southern accent, people are going to think that you're more stupid than if you have a foreign accent. It's just the way it is. Sorry, it's just the way it is. Don't want to say that about the South, and they're going to just say I'm a Yankee or whatever. No, I mean, hope I didn't start the next Civil War. But anyway, that's the point. Get out of your head, unfortunately, get out of your head that if you have an accent, people are going to think you're stupid. People are going to think you're stupid if what you're saying is stupid. That's when people think you're going to be stupid. So it's not how you say it, it's what you say that will determine if people think you're stupid. But the main thing is here is that, C2 and native, they're not the same. And people have to differentiate those. Okay, so some of these I don't know. So yeah. So well, and that's the funny thing. So Germany, there's somebody who wants to have a second official party in Germany, or a opposition party that wants to have English as the official. I mean, that's another thing. In the United States, English is not the official language. We don't have an official language. Now, you do need to know English in order to get into universities or whatever. But English is not the official language here. So many novices who have no experience in learning a foreign language tend to fall for such promising statements like fluent in 30 days and other lies. Yes, this is the problem. And I don't think Lingua Marina really goes into that. She says, this is what a native can sound like. Maybe she doesn't sound like a native, which is scammy. But the 30 days thing, I think is horrible. As we're talking more laid down English, more lazy if you okay. So let's see. By the way, more casual in conversation, having friends that are close to you, acquaintances won't do, and talking about something that you're not very interested in, like garden variety. Okay. Okay, I don't know. Oh yeah, with the time frames, right? Like 1 second, I'm just like, fuck it. Let's see if if someone has the audacity to say 1 second without joking, and like they didn't. It's insane. Okay, I even understand why Russian speakers make the mistakes they do because I'm Polish. Okay, polyglots play this game too. I learned language. Yeah, polyglots do. And as a matter of fact, I think this whole idea of calling people out really started happening more in the polyglot world 2 or 3 years ago and has now just started catching up with the English language world. So I do think that that is true. Because a lot of the videos that you see about fake polyglots are about 3 years old or newer. Okay, it's just impossible to learn a skill unless yeah, that's the point. It takes time. I mean, if I could, take a pill and learn a language, well, yeah. So for me, it was the opposite. First, I found Oh, okay. So, yeah. So yeah, that was the thing about, I didn't want to sound mean or anything, but that's the thing about Hadar's channel is I do think she has good content, and it's important to pick. It's important to pick the stuff that's good. Okay, so people like drama when someone calls out others. Is like Kevin's channel. Yeah, right. And unfortunately, that's where we're at now. That's what YouTube does. At the end of the day, YouTube doesn't pay me shit. Sorry, doesn't pay me hardly anything. I'm a teacher first and foremost. And this is where I think Kevin and Lisa, I don't know if I mean, they do teach. I don't know how much they teach now because they seem to be doing a lot of these videos compared to when they used to do them before. but they come from an actual teaching background. Marina just comes from I was a tourist in London, now I'm starting a company background. Um, okay, so okay, here we go. Um, there was a skip. Um, so where do you teach people from? Homer, this is my setup. This is where I teach people from. So if you go to davesenglish.com, take and register for a lesson, this is this is what you're going to get. Except the camera quality is better on Zoom. I don't know why it said shit here. I'm going to try to find that out next time. The don't say this videos are the worst, especially when they then use some weird word. Yeah, that's the problem and you know what? This is not just a non-native thing. A lot of native speakers will do this too. And I was looking at some that was just like, no one would say this. It's just okay, so that's that. Oh, okay, so it's not Hebrew. It's not okay. My guess is the Delwish probably knows Hebrew, and yeah. If you want to be a native speaker, all you do is be reborn in America. I mean, that's true because again, the cultural experience does play a part in this, a big part, because talking about what people are saying with friends and all that. Oh wait, this is giving me a skip ads option. Okay, I pressed it. Um, Yeah, so like me wearing this Blue Jay shirt. It's weird. Here I am talking about American English. I'm wearing my jersey from a Canadian baseball team. But I can go to Buffalo Wild Wings, sit down at the bar, and someone to either side of me, I can talk about anything. I can talk about the game that's on. I can talk about football. I could talk about college football. I could talk about, what's happening in the world or what's happening. There's a shared, I mean, just life in general. Like somebody can tell me their story about what they did that day, and I can relate to it because I probably have some sort of relationship to that story. I have some sort of connection that I know had the shared experience. Um, and that just and one thing that I find with a lot of people who come to the United States, you have those people who want to be part of this experience and learn more. And then you have a lot of people who just absolutely shut out of this experience. But they want to learn English, they want to learn the language and all that. But then you ask them, oh, are you hanging out with friends? Oh, all my friends are Russian and we speak Russian. It's like, okay. I mean, I don't know how you're going to improve your English at that point if that's kind of what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, those are preferences. Each one of us have our preferences. Those are fine. But I look at Lingua Marina's videos of when she's with her friends, and it just looks boring as all shit. I'm just telling you. Okay, we're the kind of people who are going to be in the backyard with the grill, having a Miller Lite in our hand and stuff like that. We're a lot more laid back. To them, it was like dress nice and be formal and all this. I'm like, okay. Um, okay. Um, so everyone's crazy about idioms and stuff like that. That's true. For Marina, language is not about communication; it's about an impression you make. That's why she makes video sounds like a native. Yeah, and it's like it is about communication. But see, what she doesn't realize with those videos is she inadvertently does the wrong thing. When they do the sound like a native speaker videos and then they teach you a bunch of idioms and then that person uses the idioms when they speak to people who are native speakers, we all of a sudden sit there and go, why is this person saying something like this? So yeah, so it actually backfires at the end. No offense, but you speak better than a regular American. I don't see how that would be an offense. I mean, that's be unless later on you say I'm a piece of dog shit, which then I might take offense, but I don't care. As you probably notice on my comments, I have a thick skin. I only kick people off if they get personally, if they personally attack me or other people, then their ass is gone. Hey, my channel's a dictatorship. I can do whatever the hell I want. Vocabulary and enunciation gives you away, and it's easy to spot those people who teach slash work upon their speech, even amongst native speakers. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, you're from Israel. Okay, if you're from Israel, you definitely know Hebrew. Um, So, oh, everyone is there. So, I'm happy you're mentioning Hadar. I'm a former student of hers, and I had her. Okay, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what people. I know a few people that have bought her program, and they've done quite well. Um, yeah, her main thing is to show offlets, but hence the reason this is how Americans live. And she shows like a $2 million house. Average American doesn't live in a $2 million house, Marina. How much German or other Germanic languages are related, and can you understand them? No, I mean, I would say the closest that I've seen is Dutch. There have been like sentences in Dutch that are written, and it's like I could understand every single word in there. But I would say that's maybe and like easy, what is that? The easy Dutch, like they do the easy French, easy this, easy. They had an easy Dutch one. I would say about 25% of what those Dutch people said, um, I I know. Like I could understand, but like I took a tiny bit of Dutch. What do I remember? Dank u wel or something like that. That was like 20 years ago. Um, so English doesn't really help with German. Yeah, like my German is like I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and der Himmel ist blau. That 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 is it. That's all. Most of my time is invested in French, now Slovak. I've gone off French a little bit and I'm losing it. And this new language. Okay. So again, I'll say it one more time. Mahite Hrashra Devga Hingare. If you know that, again, I want to see if somebody finds it. See if someone can figure it out. So okay, so you might have noticed a Norwegian book I have, Teach Yourself Norwegian. That book has been there for ever, and I've never even done it. I mean, I bought this like way before I even taught. What do I remember from this book? Like I literally looked at it for one day. Jeg vil gjerne reise to Norge i summer. Like I want to visit Norway this summer. And this is the problem with books like this. I remember some weird ass thing like Jeg vil gjerne reise to Norge i summer. Jeg heter Dave. Jeg kommer fra or Chicago. Right? It's like this is all I remember from this shit. So it's like I've started moving away from these books. Um so yes. So and no, it's not Klingon. It is not it's a Klingon is not real to me. I'm sorry, it's from a television show. And I know people are going to say whatever. It's not Klingon. It's a real language. In between 30 and 400 people speak it. All right. So, well, I mean, Latin has influenced a lot of Germanic languages. Yeah, I mean, it goes through a lot of those. I mean, except for some, like let's say Hungarian and Estonian um and Finnish, right? Um, you're getting close. You're getting warmer. Okay. So I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to give anything away, but I'm going to just say you're getting close. Okay. But that's not correct, but you're getting close. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and end today's stream. Thank you. Nope. Thank you very much. I appreciate you joining me today. I'm going to try to do this every week. Please let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to talk about any other types of stuff. This is mostly, like I said, a shooting the shit type of thing where I'm just going to talk, because as you can see, it's something I can do quite easily, which I guess is a good or a bad thing. It depends on what you think, but it makes making these type of podcast things I do fly. So, yeah, I got to go to a grocery store in this, pouring ass rain. Oh, and by the way, no one ever says it rains like cats and dogs. No one. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. So this is what I'm talking about. You'll see this. It rains like cats and dogs. I might have said that when I was 4, but I don't say it nowadays. No one ever says it. This is the problem I have with these types of videos. Okay, I will see you all later. I got to get my groceries because they got to be picked up between 2 and 3, and it's 2:20 right now, my local time. So thank you all very much. I will do this again. Have a wonderful day wherever it is. Now my connected speech sounds like I've been hitting the Chardonnay at 5 a.m. Holy cow. I will see you all later. Have a great day and see ya. Bye bye.